If you want to hire an attorney in San Diego, you can expect to pay about $200 to $600 an hour. If it's a criminal offense, you may have access to a public defender, but in most civil cases, you pay your own legal fees. Now there's a new option that aims to ease the steep price of legal representation. To explain how it works is Robin Sassi and Eric LaGuardia, attorneys in the Access to Law Initiative from California Western School of Law. Thank you both for being here. Robin, explain how this initiative works.
Well, it works in a couple of ways. There's a benefit to us as new attorneys coming out of law school. It gives us some time to build our practice, but the way it also helps with the community is that people who need low cost or pro bono legal help, they can come to us, go through the initiative or through some of the other referral programs, and come to some of the lawyers that have our own individual practices and get help.
We're going to talk about details of that in just a minute, but first I want to ask, and starting with you, Eric, what kind of law do you practice?
Well, generally I practice consumer rights law. So the way I describe that is that I represent the little guy. It's typically plaintiff's work, and usually I'm representing someone who's been wronged by either their employer or an abusive debt collector, something of that nature.
So very on-the-ground boots. What about
That's
you,
right.
Robin? What do you?
I do corporate law, civil litigation, and trusts and estates.
So there's a big wide range through
Yes.
this initiative. Tell me, Eric, what are the? It's called an incubator. What is that? What does it mean? Where do you go to work?
Well, the word incubator kind of relates to the idea that once you're done with law school, you've learned a great many things. You've probably clerked or interned somewhere and learned some real-world experience. But if you're like one of us or many others and you want to start your own solo practice, it can be difficult and challenging to kind of go out there on your own. You need
Make
kind
a
of
name
you need
for
well,
yourself.
there's that. You also need a network base and other attorneys to collaborate with, and that's something that all attorneys do. So it's kind of a support system to kind of help you make sure you're on top of everything that you need to be on top of.
And you actually go to a building. It's not like you actually go to a place,
Right.
Symphony Towers, right? This isn't a virtual world where a bunch of attorneys come on.
No. It's a great office. It has a beautiful view, and we're really fortunate to be there.
But the attorneys that are there, they're all new attorneys, kind of inexperienced attorneys?
Well, some more than others, true, but that's the beauty of the program, is that we are connected with not only a law professor and other representatives from our school, but with seasoned attorneys, and you're given resources to make sure that if you have a question or it's something you haven't handled, and typically, we are well trained, so we kind of just get verification that what we think is the right thing to do, it actually is the right thing to do.
So it's sort of a support system in
Right.
there. Give me an example, Robin, of somebody that you've helped at the initiative. What?
For example, landlord-tenant issues, a very typical one. We have a lot of tenants in San Diego. They might not know their rights, might have something, there's a leaky toilet. There's, for example, there was a sink that was leaking, a shower that wasn't working, and the tenant is calling the landlord. I can't get this guy to fix it. What can you do? Well, then I can step in. It's very simple for me to do it, and it carries a little bit more weight because I'm an attorney to help that person fix that problem. And a lot of times they don't know what their rights. They don't know that they can have that landlord fix that. It's a habitability issue.
So you're helping someone. How does it, Eric? How does it work? I mean, how do you get paid for this? Who pays for this program if the client isn't paying for it very much?
Well, just to be clear, we're all solo practitioners. We're all individual attorneys with our own firms, and the Access to Law Initiative is a place where people can go if they don't have enough money to pay $200 to $600 for an attorney, and then the Access to Law Initiative can potentially direct those people to us. And if we're able to help them on a pro bono basis, we will. But because we're newer attorneys, we're probably have less on our plate and are more likely to be able to take, $75 an hour, $50 an hour, which is sort of unheard of in the general marketplace, but something that we can consider because we're newer. And we also want to help, the reason we're there is to help the underserved community as well.
Help the underserved. How do people find you? If somebody who's watching this and needs some help, what do they need to do?
Well, through some of the other volunteer organizations we work through can help cross-refer. There's a lot of word of mouth going through. For example, if I have a friend with that landlord-tenant issue, I can also refer them oh, you have this other problem, then I can send you to somebody else who's in the group. And just because these people aren't able to afford legal help or they need to pay less doesn't mean that they don't have potential for things later on. They might, you know,
good networking going on.
It's good
early
networking,
on.
and they might know somebody, and then that's the way you build your practice.
So word of mouth right now.
Well, and Bob Seibel is really the person to contact at Cal Western.
So
He's
go
kind
through
of
Cal
spearhead-
Western School of Law, and that would be a good way to go.
That'd be the way to go right now. We'll have a phone number and a website in short order, but right now those things are kind of in process. So.
All right. It's a great beginning. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.